to the Logistics Point interviews. Today I'm joined by Bob Black, who is the Deputy Chairman of Doddle, and we're going to talk about e-commerce and PUDO lockers. Bob, thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome, Nick. Nice to meet you.
What are the benefits from these lockers, and how much does it cost to install one and the whole network, and what is the return of investment?
It's a great question, Nick, and it's one that many operators around the globe are grappling with. And what is the return on investment, and how do they efficiently outlay capital to expand their network? So, if I cover the first point, the locker networks have become a great opportunity for carriers and postal operators around the globe to expand their out-of-home delivery options. So we're seeing an approach to that in many different ways. In some countries, it's the incumbent post office that is the market leader in that. For instance, in Australia, with over 1,100 lockers deployed, in Germany with Deutsche Post also taking that same particular line to install their own. In other countries like UK, it's quite fragmented, where there are locker companies themselves installing locker banks. There's companies such as Amazon installing their own lockers. And of course, Doddle ourselves, we also have a locker network that we support here in the UK. And then what that's driving is trying to push volume into a more efficient out-of-home solution. So rather than the final mile being to the consumer's door, we're able to divert that final mile delivery into a convenient collection point. What we saw during my time, my 6 years at Australia Post, was that offering this gave the consumer the control, their own choice. And we actually realized that consumers selecting their own out-of-home delivery option, that being a locker, gave them a collection at any point in time that they could go and do it. There was certainty that it was going to arrive there. They'd be notified when it was arriving there. They're safe and they're secure. It's an individual PIN number that they'd get to be able to go and retrieve it. And then they could do that at their own convenience, whether they were on their way to work, on their way home, going shopping, dropping the kids off at school, anything really, and they'd do that. And what we found from that was that actually deliveries to PUDO lockers gave us a higher net promoter score than actually at-home delivery, which we found quite amazing. And why is that? Because people love that control. If you're receiving a delivery at home, of course, you may be out firstly, so it could be a card for you to go and collect. You may be in the shower or in the garden mowing the lawn, and there's a little bit of inconvenience with coming to answer the door, so it's not in your control. What we found is that it was very difficult for us to then monetize that in a cost to serve, because customers are saying, well, you're not coming to our door now. Consumers are saying, you're not coming to our door. You're going to we're going to a pickup point. We're doing the work, so why would you charge me more for that? You may want to actually discount me for being able to go and pick that up. So you have to look at the investment in lockers in a very different way. It isn't necessarily going to be something that you're going to be revenue generative from. You're actually going to make your delivery network greener, more efficient, reduce your cost to serve, and actually be able to consolidate deliveries to one point where multiple consumers will come at their convenience. So the way that we actually looked at this was through efficiencies, cost efficiencies, an environmental issue to reduce the impact of roadside delivery to home, and then through a customer convenience lens, which actually drove our net promoter score up. Now, when we look globally, the ways carriers and locker companies are putting these out vary, and of course, each country has their own dynamics which they need to grapple with. But certainly an agnostic locker bank that could be used by multiple carriers for multiple consumers buying from multiple merchants is obviously an excellent way to drive foot traffic to that particular consolidated point.
Is there the perfect location or sort of a critical mass of people that will justify an investment like that?
Initially when you were looking at these, railway stations, bus stations were great examples of a convenience point to put a locker station in, where people going to work, coming back on the train will be able to pick up their parcel. I believe that, we're back into a period of change now where, people are going back to the office. We'll see that. So anywhere where there's significant footfall, of course, stores, our tie-up in the UK is with Morrison's to put those locations in Morrison sites where you've got good foot traffic already. So superstores, town centres where you've got high footfall.
Supply chain crises are everywhere, but knowledge can help you. Join the Logistics Point, a digital news platform for logistics and supply chain. Subscribe now on YouTube to access free online events, interviews with leading supply chain experts, and more. The Logistics Point.
That lockers are not necessarily the ultimate answer to everything, because you can't have probably perishable goods or very large items. So it's just a specific part of all goods that are ordered that can go inside.
I mean, obviously, they can be adapted. They can be temperature-controlled lockers. They come at a cost, and actually with various issues that may evolve through that. So the maintenance and then the upkeep of that, and how you keep that temperature at that right level. So you're absolutely right. In that sense, there's an additional cost to go with it. Oversized, some oversized can be catered for, but not all oversized. So where you're doubling up with a post office adjacent to the locker bank, or a superstore adjacent to the locker bank, you've got optionality. And that works very, very well for being able to complement each other. If we look at the growth of e-commerce, it's been in its early years definitely through fashion, cosmetics, small goods, small commodity type items. So they've been absolutely perfect for that. When we move through e-commerce channels and we look at the more mature markets, the likes of the US and the UK, where we're now seeing white goods being ordered online, and beds or mattresses, etc. Of course, that doesn't solve for that problem. That's often a white glove delivery, 2-door with an install. And then you're looking at a totally different solution where it may be, recovering the replacement article. You've taken a TV in, you're taking a TV out, or you're taking a mattress in, you're bringing a mattress out, fridge, freezer, etc. And then it's around making that efficient, effective, and being able to recycle the goods that are coming out as well. So again, a really big lean on how do you make the whole e-commerce industry more environmentally friendly as well, with packaging, removal, and taking actually, vehicles off the road where possible, or consolidating into areas such as the locker banks we're talking about today.
And if we specifically look at the UK network, you just mentioned that is relatively fragmented, so there are a lot of different players. Is this good or bad, or there is no necessary effect of that?
Yeah, in any market where you've got fragmentation, there's winners and there's losers, there's good and there's bad. Agnostic networks, obviously, such as the post office, which are now opening up to DPD, and Amazon coming into them with their own Royal Mail collection point. Obviously, that's a good thing. It gives the consumer one point of contact where they're potentially picking up goods from multiple carriers. And that same applies then in locker banks. If you've got a more agnostic locker bank where you can provide services to multiple carriers, but then the technology's got to match. You've got to be able to put parcels in, communicate with the consumer, be able to work it off one platform. And that's one of the areas that Doddle, the Doddle tech team, have been working on, to make sure the technology that we're implementing for out-of-home delivery is agnostic across multiple carriers and operators. And that way, they can all interface into one technology platform and still have access to a wide-ranging PUDO network, which includes third-party locations, parcel lockers, and various other means that the consumers use to pick up goods.
Where do you see the locker network, not only in the UK, but sort of globally, being developed in the future?
My personal opinion is that it's part of a holistic rollout of multiple ways for consumers to buy goods online, and then choose and select the most convenient way to receive those goods, whether it is to their door, or whether it is, as they do the school run, as they go to work, as they return from work, as they go out to do their shopping. So I think it forms part of a wider PUDO network that brings convenience an efficiency to the consumer.
Well, Bob, thank you very much for your time. And for everyone watching, you can learn more in the description below. Thank you.